Networks don't talk about it. Government can't tax it. But sports betting is a $200 billion a year business.
That's a major U.S. Supreme Court ruling that could open the door for legalized sports betting all across the country.
The Supreme Court is giving the green light for states to determine on their own whether they want to legalize sports gambling.
Tell Donahue his next pick is good for 20 grand, but I need him to guarantee a win, okay? I need a lock.
He's not that fucking good.
No, Tommy, he has to. All right, he has to, or else they're going to kill me. Do you realize this, Tommy? They're going to fucking kill me. I can't afford to gamble anymore. I need a fucking lock.
And we're live. Welcome to Halloween night of Lock Talk. Myself, Trevor, Stoolie, my guy, filling in this week on the other side. It is NFL Week 9, College Football Week 10. NBA is fully tipped off. NHL has dropped the puck. Sports Equinox happened on Monday, I think it was.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
I mean, Dodgers are World Series champions. We're not even going to talk about that bullshit. Yeah, man. Stoolie, good to have you back. He's been on the program a few times. Always good to have Packer faithful in the house.
Absolutely. The more the merrier.
Absolutely is right. All right. So before we get into things, a few things I want to touch on. Lock Talk, obviously our number one sponsor, the reason that we are here. Joey would love to be here. He's doing one of two things right now. He is either at the Jets game or he is taking his nephew trick-or-treating. So he's either having a great time because the Jets just scored, or he's taking a did they score? Oh, wait. Sorry. What are they reviewing?
The Jets just Jets. I think he dropped the ball before the end zone.
Oh, he did? Oh, that's oh, yeah. Well, we'll talk about this game a little bit. We'll talk about the Jets game when we talk NFL, but big shout out to Joey. He has not been as much a part of this program as he'd like to be. But if you're getting married in New York, times are busy, things are busy. And he lives a much quicker lifestyle than we do here in Wisconsin, where we could kick back on a Thursday night, have a few drinks, watch a little Thursday night football, and talk bets for the weekend. So let's get right into it, man. I want to talk a little college football week 10, weird weekend, only 2 ranked matchups. Before we get into the games, the one thing I really wanted to talk about, and I've been spouting off on Twitter about it X, for maybe the last week since things have been adjusted. Yeah, the Heisman odds. Stoolie, we got to talk about the Heisman odds right now. It's about as interesting of a spot as they've been to this point. It seemed like Gentry was kind of running away with it. And then Travis Hunter goes, and he's the offensive player of the week and the defensive player of the week in the Big 12. Gabriel snuck in there under plus 300. You can get Ward plus 300 underneath that. Gentry's now out to plus 425. That's actually gotten worse since the week has started. Are we seeing a huge overreaction here with a not even really subpar game from Gentry?
I mean, I may be tad biased. I am sitting on a 25-1 ticket for Genty, but
wow.
I mean,
can I buy in on that? You can buy in on my Travis Hunter 12-1. We could hedge out that way.
Hey, it's not a bad idea. I mean, I stared at Hunter when he was like 7-1. I was like, no, I'm riding with my guy. And then,
no, man, this is the question. So you're a perfect guy to ask since you've been obviously watching his games and being pretty on top of it. To me, so I'm kind of the guy. I got boned by Michael Penix last year. I was very on record. Yeah, that's right. You were also in that same boat.
Yeah.
This year, I want to be able to, guys call it cornering the market. I'm not going to fucking corner the market. I'm sitting here in Wisconsin, but I want to be able to sit there during the Heisman ceremony, have 2 dogs in the race, and really feel good about myself. Is this the buy-in point for him? Because I look at Boise State's schedule and I'm just like, he should roll at least for the next few games. And this week against San Diego State, I think he'll play great. I don't think we get better than plus 425 unless Hunter goes insane and Gabriel. I think Gabriel's a non-factor. I had a tweet about that earlier this week. He has a real chance to play one opponent that will finish the season ranked in the top 25 unless Illinois sneaks in there. Not a huge fan of his. Cam Ward, I get it. The U being back, that's a big swing for college football. At the same time, they're playing way too close of games, and I don't think that's being talked about enough. But yeah, I wanted to touch on the Heisman. So as far as the other guys, so let's talk. Hold on, let me back this up here. Out of, if you had to pick out of the three between Gabriel and Ward and Hunter now is sitting plus 200 or worse in some books. Do you see any value on those guys under 3-1 at this point?
I mean, if I had to pick one, gun to my head, I would definitely go Hunter, just because I feel like it's between him and Genty. I mean, Gabriel, if you wanted to play Gabriel, I feel like you had to play it before the Ohio State game.
Sure.
That's when it dropped. Cam Ward, I think Miami's. I mean, he hasn't been playing fantastic. He's had a couple interception games and fumbles.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
And Miami, they feel like they're due to lose. I mean, well, I guess you couldn't even say that. The ACC's made 2 calls for him to give them the game. So,
dude, they are getting the. I've not seen and hey, shout out to Miami. Somebody in the ACC's got to get calls, and I'd rather it be Miami than Clemson. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree with you. I can't believe what we're seeing. So I'm looking at Miami's schedule for the rest of the season. So they're they're Duke at home, and then they go to Georgia Tech. At Georgia Tech in a couple weeks is a massive trap game. 11 o'clock, buried in the slate. Probably be about a 10 to 12 point favorite if I had to guess. That is a trap game. But yeah, I think you're 100% right on Gabriel. If you wanted to bet Gabriel, you would have just taken, instead of Oregon money line, take Gabriel Heisman, and that could have been your bet for that game. No, we're definitely on the same page when it comes to the Heisman. Let's talk about a couple of the matchups that we've got coming up this weekend. Weirdly enough, man, we get punched in the mouth with a crazy matchup right away, smack dab. It's the big noon kickoff. Might as well start there. Ohio State laying 3.5 on the road against Penn State. Dude, I was not impressed by Penn State at all.
Nope.
We both watched the Badger game last weekend. I know we did. I was sitting down in Dallas with my buddies. We couldn't believe that it was even a game until the third quarter. Yeah, I'm very, very heavy on Ohio State. If it snuck its way under 3, if Penn State just got this crazy run at money and you could get the money line like under 150, I'd like that. I don't know if I can talk myself into going outside of a field goal on the road.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I mean, you could argue both shit the bed last week very hard. It was clearly look ahead games for them. If we didn't give them that pick 6, Badgers, I think they would have covered. I forget. I think it was like 17-28.
Oh, yeah. Yep. If that pick 6 doesn't happen, Wisconsin, they stay around the number because you don't go for 2. And yeah. But no, you're right.
Well, regardless. But yeah. I mean, Ohio State too. They looked terrible against Nebraska. I mean, we just saw Nebraska get 50-pieced by Indiana, and then Ohio State
25-point favorites, dude. 25-point favorites at home.
It was ugly. I mean, first quarter was rough, and then the second quarter, I think it was like 14-3. I was like, okay, here they go. They're gonna get it rolling. They didn't. They shit the bed. Yeah. I know Drew Aller got hurt last week too, so I'm trying to figure out.
So he practiced. College is weird because it's not like the NFL where we get every piece of it. You kind of have to rely on guys with their ear to the ground. But it sounds like he's practicing. I can't imagine he doesn't go, but he's definitely not 100%, and that definitely plays into this number being, Ohio State laying above 3. If you have a fully healthy Aller, do you get to that 3? It's a big threshold to cross, especially in the Big Ten. That number is very, very prevalent. As again, we saw Ohio State and Nebraska ended up a 4-point game last week. But yeah, that was a interesting game. Obviously, everybody's going to have their eyes on it in the morning. There's going to be plenty of action on it. Prop wise, I'm not super in tune with the guys on either side. I like Quinshon Judkins plus 125. That was the one that I highlighted. Singleton's plus money. That's the thing with Ohio State. A lot of times you could just take the backfield and they're both plus money. One of them's going to get in the end zone. Yeah. You're not going to get a bunch of money, but if you get both, then you win. But yeah, let's move on to the nightcap. That fun fact.
Side note on that game. Isn't this a huge miss? This isn't a whiteout game.
Joey's text to me. Funny you should tell me that, and I'm happy to bring up me and Joey's personal text during the program when he's not here. It's my favorite way to talk about.
I mean, like Ohio State's coming to town, and you're going to play at 11. Like, why?
Yeah. He asked me So yeah, I asked him if he had this heat wave that we had in the Midwest, and he's like, yeah, it's gonna be pushing 80s. You got to figure out if it's gonna be an indoor game or an outdoor. I said, at 11 o'clock, this is an outdoor game, but if it's a night game, it's an indoor affair. And he said, why the fuck is it not a whiteout? And that's probably the best question we can ask. Texans to the house.
Well, scoop and score.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers, so sad. Does he have a dent in his helmet?
It kind of looks like it. I can't tell if that's a scuff or if
it's I can't. It kind of looks like a dent. I don't know if you caught this football move. No, nope. That's incomplete. Well, that was fun for nothing. I got the Texans +8 in teaser and team total over 20.5. So I've got way too much money going on a Thursday night.
Just give me a Tank Dell Tutty and we'll get the rest of that 20.
What was his odds tonight for a touchdown?
+180.
Oh, that's not bad. I don't hate that, especially with the way that the receivers are banged up.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk nightcap. We got one other ranked game to go through. Super interesting game, in my opinion. One team that I've been watching super closely. One team that can't say I've watched a minute. Pittsburgh is at SMU. I've got a buddy on staff at SMU, so I've been a big fan of theirs watching all year. Big time overs. The total in this thing is 57.5. I think you're going to see a lot of offense. If you love offense, this is going to be for you. If you like defense, what's wrong with you? Stop watching college football. But yeah, Pittsburgh's been a lot of fun this year. A team that didn't really expect a whole lot, but the public absolutely loves them this week. Right now, as the line sits, they're catching more than a touchdown, which I would lean Pittsburgh because SMU does have a lot of defensive issues. That was one game, I'll tell you, in a week with only 2 ranked games, this is not a number 2 game of the weekend by any means, unfortunately, for college football. It's kind of a stinky slate. This is great if we got great 2:30 games, couple good noon games. Unfortunately, a lot of folks are going to have to wait to watch their second top 25 matchup till 7 o'clock at night. Fun fact, did you look at the schedule this weekend and see what time the games are?
Yeah, no late games, all 7 o'clock.
You know why?
I don't actually know why.
Daylight savings.
Oh, is that actually happening this weekend?
Yeah, that is this weekend, and I'm not even doing the PMT bit. It's actually happening this weekend. No,
those guys throw me off.
Oh, every time. No, we were on stream. Etoff21, big shout out to my guy. I was on his stream on Tuesday, and we had some dude come from the clouds in the chat. We're talking about this, how weird the schedule is, and all of a sudden this dude just drops daylight savings. It's like, duh, no kidding. Makes the most sense in the world. But yeah, SMU Pittsburgh, man, I would lean 57.5. Just have fun. You're going to be drunk. It's 7 o'clock at night. You're probably chasing. That's how I feel about the game. I don't know if you have any sort of action there.
No, I don't. I kind of lean Pittsburgh and low key the under. I mean, both teams, their defense isn't terrible. I just had these up. Pittsburgh, 9th best in the country, 4.4 opponent yards per play, and then Methodist 28th, 4.9. At home, it is a little worse, 5.4. So I do kind of lean Pittsburgh. I mean, they'll be able to throw the ball in this defense.
I like that, for sure.
Just a matter of closing out the those red zone drives. But if a gun to my head, I'm going to pick Pitt over the under there. I just think Pitt's going to be able to throw the ball, do what they got to do, and Narduzzi's been solid. So I'm going to lean to trust him. I believe this is SMU's first ACC night game though, so the energy could be pretty. That
stadium, we drove past it last weekend. Insanity. Yeah, I'm sure of it. I've seen, because it's funny. I see my buddy's Snapchat stories, so he's on the field going crazy. But yeah, SMU played a really tight game with Duke. They were laying 11.5 on the road last week, ended up winning by 1 as the Jets almost muffed the punt at the 1. It's going to be a great game. It's hard to say, man. You're on the under, I'm on the over. It's hard to say. College football, that's why I don't unload the clip on Saturdays. And that's why this show isn't much of a college football show. So let's keep it moving. Ooh,
I do got one college game I do have a play on.
I would love to hear
Army game.
Yes,
Air Force
11 and a half, right? I'm sorry. I'm thinking Navy. I'm thinking Navy Rice.
Yeah. Yep. No, I took it's 22. I took Army first half. I've been on this almost every single week this year. They're a
Okay.
freaking wagon, and you'd think that Air Force is going to be able to slow them down. You know, they're familiar with it. They are one of the worst teams in the country.
They're
117th in opponent yards
horrible.
per carry.
We
They're
fade
ugly.
them actively on this program.
Perfect. Perfect. Because yeah, I mean, stopping the run, you'd think that's their thing. No, 117 in the country, 5.3 yards a carry.
Terrible.
And then the passing defense, I believe they're dead last in the country.
That's so hard. For a team that is
Or no, sorry, they're decent at the pass. My bad. I was looking at the their passing yards a game, which obviously they're dead last.
Oh
But
yeah. that
I
does
mean,
make sense. That
yeah,
tracks. Well, they're 0
Army
7
should
against
just
the number. That's the craziest thing. And Army's 6-1 against the number. And you're looking at somebody was talking, they were yapping on Twitter about, oh, what's a service team to be laying 3 touchdowns against another service team? Have you watched Air Force play football this year?
yeah,
Have you watched how bad the Falcons are? And what sucks is Air Force, they were probably out of the team, out of the service academies for a little while there. They were the standard. They were the team that you
Yep.
look at. And they are definitely at the bottom of the barrel right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
0-7 against the spread, 1-6 straight up. Army working on an undefeated season. They're 6-1. And like you said, that first half. So what is that first half line?
13.5, which is perfect because you can get it under
Mhm.
2 touchdowns.
Love
Army
that.
or Air Force is getting about a touchdown on average of points in the first half. Army, they love to just jump on you in the first half,
Sure.
just grind you out, and then second half they maul you. They maul you. I mean, I've played full game and first half multiple times this year with ease.
Sure.
Like it's never been a doubt. Army fifth highest scoring offense in the country in the first half. So
Pretty
I mean,
damn good.
yeah, 28.7 points at home versus 16 on the road. They still went. I think it was Tulane, and they mauled them by like 20 in the first half. Still, so
Yeah.
give me Air Force all day, every day,
I think you meant Army, but I also
or
agree.
Army. Yeah,
But yeah, no, we've been, well, I guess it's me. I've been all over fading Air Force all season. I think they're absolute garbage. I know this game, you and I almost started. I wanted to put the brakes on us because I hate talking about games before stream actually starts.
yeah.
We were talking IU and Michigan State. IU is now laying 8. They're outside of a touchdown. A lot of talk on Michigan State. Dude, I'm on the Hoosiers in this game. I really do like Indiana. I got them first half over 1.5, which is about as obscure as it gets. They've hit that in every single game, but one only game they didn't. They had 14. So I like IU. I believe in everything that Indiana is doing, and I haven't believed in Michigan State in quite some time. So
Yeah.
give me the Hoosiers. I would lay the 8 if I wasn't already invested in it. Definitely a team that you could tease down to 2. Definitely a team if you wanted to put it in your money line parlay. Michigan State they're exactly what a 4-4 team is. Hang with Michigan, get blown out by Oregon, get blown out by Ohio State. Kind of tight with Boston College on the road. That was a tough loss. But yeah, this is a team that's lost 4 or 5. Their season is spiraling. I love IU. I know you like IU. Do you have any action on the game specifically?
I don't, but I'm staring at Bovada right now, 7.5 spread. Definitely going to smash that.
This is why you shop, kids. This
Yeah.
is why you shop. Bovada.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, generally, you're either going to have a worse line or a better line here. They're never really on market with everybody. So
100%.
definitely got a shot. But man, IU's on a mission. They haven't won by less than 14 all damn year. And Michigan State just played Big Brother last week and gave them all they could handle. They gave them their best shot. So I mean, it's 2:30. It's not a night game. I don't expect Signetti to have these guys sleeping on this at all. Like they're probably going to win by 14, 17 at least minimum. Aiden Childs will give him the ball a couple times, which is what he does. So yeah, I even if this was 9.5, I'd lay it with Indiana still. I don't care.
Yeah,
they're going to win by double digits.
They've won. They've had a point margin of plus 63 over the past 2 weeks, being under touchdown favorites. Now they're just 1 point over a touchdown. Yeah, I think both of us are all over IU in that game.
If Rourke, I'm not sure if Rourke has officially been announced or not, or even if he doesn't go, the back.
I don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't.
Everything else. So for people that don't know, Rourke is Mac royalty. Big fan of his. He was like the only guy. I'm surprised James Madison brought everything but their quarterback. It seemed like for that team. But yeah, Rourke. I don't think he moves the needle a ton. I think this is just a systematically well put together team that's completely bought in to what they're doing. So yeah. I like Indiana a lot of different ways this weekend. So let's talk
First
before
half, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it takes. Absolutely.
Eighth highest first half scoring team too. So
first half, yeah, they have over 21 and a half first half points per game on the season. Top, I think they're 9th, which is funny. James Madison is just ahead of them, but James Madison's a whole different beast. Before we get to the NFL, I got to talk a little bit about not a sponsor, but a big partner of the program, always repping the merch, Bet Openly. For those of you that don't know, you got to get on the app. The app is now available in the App Store. It's a little bit of a clusterfuck right now. I've been in Gino's ear about it, so don't worry. We're going to get that smoothed out. But if you haven't been using it, you got to get on there. We're talking, you like a bet at plus 110, you're going to love it at plus 127. I mean, this is free money in your pocket. This is the future of sports gambling. All of these retail books, they are trying to rob you blind. The reason you walk into those casinos, they look like fucking pearly, magnificent. That's because they constantly win. And they win because they're taking the juice. It doesn't matter. Even if you win your bets, they're still winning at the end of the day. Bet Openly is a really good way to circumvent that. And for me and Stoolie, the best part is it's legal in the state of Wisconsin. Even if you're in this communist ass state that does not allow you to place legal wagers at retail books and has a complete monopoly on the Indian tribes. But big shout out to those guys, because without them, we'd have nothing. I was just at Pato a week ago for opening of NBA. So yeah, big shout out Bet Openly. Like I said, not a sponsor. They don't do any sort of sponsorships. They don't pump any money to content creators. It is all word of mouth. But for me, I like pumping it because my bets are sitting out there. And Stoolie, I want my bets filled. That's at the end of the day. And the best part about it, you got a bet that's not getting filled. You could go over to that good old X machine. You could pump your bet right in there, send it out to the world, put whatever hashtag you want on it. It's my surefire way of getting my bet filled, because as much as you may like some team or some bet, there's another motherfucker that likes it on the other side just as much. So utilize something like Bet Openly. I can't say enough good things about them, and they are about as homegrown as it gets. All right, Stoolie, this is why we're here. We talk NFL every week. I can't actually believe we spent 20 minutes almost on college football. That is surprising and maybe a record for this show. I want to start with an interesting game because it's two teams that I am very interested to hear what you have to say about them, because I know you watch ball, and these are two teams that if you've watched a lot of their ball this year, it may not matter. I got Dallas, Atlanta looking at this right now, and Atlanta is laying 3 at home. Can you get to that point? Atlanta is they are 1-4 against the spread at home this year. You got to take that into account before you go crazy on the Falcons. Parsons doubtful. Can you get to the Cowboys? I don't know. I don't love the game. I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
I mean, if Parsons is in, I'm more intrigued, but I don't want any part of this Dallas team. They've got CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. That is it. I mean, 38-year-old Zeke and 39-year-old Dalvin Cook are in their backfield. I mean, they're not doing much. Atlanta, 11th in yards per attempt, so they're good at just keeping the ball dumped down, not allowing gigantic plays for the most part. I think Atlanta wins. I don't care. Dallas is just a dumpster fire. They can't do much of anything.
The thing when I look at Atlanta, when I watch them play defense, it's like watching the Green Bay defense from a year ago. It is the most bend, don't break. It's like, we're not going to give up the 60-yarder, but if you want 3 20-yarders, oh, buddy, I got a deal for you. And to that credit, I think Dak props this week. That's one thing that I'm looking at against Atlanta. When it comes to Dak, I was looking at his passing completions. There it is. 24.5 this week for Dak. I like that on the road. On the road this season, he has hit every single passing attempt prop that he's had. It's a team that has unfortunately been chasing on the road, which a lot of their fans didn't expect to happen. I don't love where the game sits. Again, it's teetering on that 3, man. See, what sucks is if I'm sitting here on Thursday and I'm betting a game plus 3.5 and that thing gets under 3 by Sunday, I feel like a piece of shit. So I leave a lot of these three numbers alone. I've been on the wrong side of that enough times to know. 51.5 feels like a crazy total. Feel like there's going to be some late under action. But yeah, super interesting playing in the dome. So weather's not a factor. Yeah. Anything else on that game before we move it along?
No, 100%. Dak completions. ATL, worse in the league at giving up 72.5% completion percentage. You want to adjust it 81.8, third worst. So they're not, they're not giving up the big plays like you said, but if you want to dink and dunk them for 10, 15, 20 yards, they're going to allow you to do that all game and try to use up the clock. So it's going to be a lot of Jake Ferguson, CD, maybe some screens.
But... And you look at CeeDee Lamb, I mean, the target share that he's getting is... I got CD in my fantasy team. I'm not complaining at all. But holy shit, he's getting Devontae Adams type pumping right now. Like this is Devontae Adams all over again from Green Bay. So yeah, cool. Cowboys Falcons should be a really interesting game. Love that it's a noon game. Cowboys do not deserve 325 games right now. So happy to have that in the noon slate. Moving on, we got an AFC East matchup. We have the 2-5 Miami Dolphins traveling to Buffalo. They are catching 6. Total is 49 in this one. Tua's alive, Trev. For now, Tua is very much alive. You could definitely talk me into this total. It sits under 50 right now with no rain in the forecast, sitting in the mid 50s. 49, that's juicy to me. What do you think?
I kind of like the over with you. Tua's back. Miami's they're going to get it rolling. I forget what the score of last week was, but
for Miami, 27-28, man. They were well over that total.
Yep. And Dolphins defense is nothing to write home about. So I think this is going to go over. I mean, they'll give up a few big plays. Tyreek's going to do his thing. Waddle too. A-Chain had a huge week with Tua back too. So I don't think there's going to be much defense going to be played. I can easily see these two teams getting 24 plus each here. So if it's 24-24, you're at least getting a push on 49 bare minimum. But let's be honest, that's not going to happen. So
sure.
And if we look at the defense, where were they? I just lost my tab. Oh, Buffalo right here, 66% completion percentage. They've given up 9 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So Tua can easily throw a pick 6 too. I wouldn't throw that out of the realm of possibility because he ain't running. So he's gonna.
What do we got? Hold on, before you move on. What do we got for defensive touchdown anytime score? It's got to be Buffalo D plus 600. Plus 600 for a defensive touchdown.
That's crazy.
That's wild. As the Texans are about to punch it, there's your boy Tank Dell.
Tank, come on,
2 yards short.
Throw him the ball again. He earned it.
Yeah, he deserves it. One thing to look at in this game that I do want to make note before we move along: Amari Cooper and Curtis Samuel, both of them are questionable. They've missed time this week, so definitely keep an eye on those. Wouldn't pull the trigger on the total. Honestly, when you're getting up to near 50, I mean 49.5, 50, you're not losing a ton of value. You're not sitting on a 41.5, 42 number. These are starting to get to the point where it's just a very high number where you don't have to worry about the statistics. Moving right along. Oh, what do you got?
I just said Anna was mixing, of course.
Oh, it's mixing. Fantasy.
Next draft.
Yeah,
next fantasy. There we go.
A lot of game to go.
Maybe some Khalil Shakir. His props are at 51.5.
Really?
Shakir eats too.
Shakir
he had 100 and some yards last week with Cooper.
Yeah. No, especially with guys banged up. I think that's a terrific angle. I'm actually putting that down. Shakir yards. Shakir's the one that doesn't wear shoes, right?
Mac Hollins.
Mac Hollins.
Actually, you want a dumb angle. Mac Hollins revenge game. I mean, I don't even see his. What are his yards have got to be like 12 and a half.
Mac Hollins revenge game. All right. Well, we'll move on from the Mac Hollins revenge game. Let's talk Chargers Browns. The only thing I have in my notes, I have Jameis written 6 times in all caps. That's all I care about. And personally, I think the Browns are as good of a side to be on this weekend. And hey, if you're on the wrong side, you were on the wrong side with Jameis Winston after, dude. Did you see the stats? Jameis Winston last 9 starts,
Yeah, like
2021, 7-2. He's
Yep.
got 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
He's a
The
monster.
dude plays ball. The
He's
dude
good.
plays ball. And Bosa is slowed down. He's questionable right now with a hip. He is not going to be 100%. That pass rush, which that's the one thing with Jameis Winston. If you can get after Jameis Winston, make him super uncomfortable in the pocket, he is not an improviser by any means. But if you let him get comfortable, Baltimore could not get after him last week. He diced him. And big shout out Jameis. I love where his career is at. He's at a point where I was talking to my dad about it, dude. He's going to get Mike Glennon money. He's going to get that $16 to $18 million. Malik might get that money too. We're at a weird spot right now. There's a lot of bad quarterback play, and there are a lot of good backups that have come in, and those 2 guys are young enough to do it. Total in this game was another one that I was looking at. It's 42.5. I lean to the under in that. Interested. What do you think about this game? Do you think Jameis comes back and does it twice?
I mean, like you said, he's 7-2 his last 9 healthy starts. So I mean, I like him. I mean, they've got a jolt of energy since Deshaun. Hate to see it went down, but
Yeah, absolutely hate. Yeah, hate. You never root for injuries.
Never,
except for rapists.
I was so upset I threw my hat at the TV. I couldn't believe it. It couldn't have happened to a better guy, too, to be honest. But
100% stand up. Myles Garrett, man, he has been a great guy for most of his. I've never seen one word just carry such a load when he said most.
Yeah,
that is carrying the biggest load.
That word was just verbally underlined like 7 times when he said it. It was everybody knows.
I feel for him, and I don't think at the time is that what he's trying to say? Is he trying to be like, well, he's mostly good, but
I mean, I've never heard Myles Garrett say anything, misspeak about anything or say anything else that's really
never or do anything out of line.
So,
do anything out of line. Not like him. Not like him at all. No. But what do you think, Chargers Browns in this one?
I'm with you. Browns. Jameis has sparked that team. I mean, did you see that pregame speech that he gave?
Fuck yeah, dude!
Playing for the decal on your helmet.
But we ain't got no decals. But dude. And the best part is did you see his pregame with the reporter? Like, he is so locked in. The most locked in human being.
This is his chance, and he's taking it, dude.
Well, dude, he has gone through Jameis. I think right now. Did you see the thing of him at like Sonic or whatever the fuck the drive-in was? That video?
Yeah, with the tray.
Yeah, so like, dude has a bunch of kids now. He's not the fucker right in the pussy standing up at the quad guy anymore, or maybe put your hands on your Uber driver. Probably shouldn't. That's Jameis from a long time ago. This dude's got 3 kids, understands that he has a very special opportunity, and he's a man of God. So, hey, I got nothing but respect for Jameis. As Devontae, that looked very Devontae-esque. That was
shake him off and run.
That was damn. I got to watch this replay again. I'm sorry, we got a couple Packer fans glazing Devontae Adams.
Oh man, dude, I was just talking before the game.
Thanks for playing,
man. Jets fans think they're getting like 2016, 17 Rodgers Adams. It's like, no, they're both old as shit, but man.
Adams is the one.
Adams
is the one out of those 2 where I would be so much more to buy in on. But hey, is what it is. All right, let's keep it moving. Chargers Browns is done. I can't believe I've got action on this, but let's talk Patriots Titans. So right now, Patriots are catching 3.5. Total's 38. Everything looks about as ugly as you'd expect it to be. The biggest question that I have for you, Trev, who the fuck are the Tennessee Titans to be laying anything outside of a field goal? I don't care if you're playing the Fox Valley Lutheran Foxes. Shout out my Foxes. They got a second round playoff this week. I don't care who you're playing. The Titans should not lay 3.5 to anybody. And I honestly don't really care who's playing quarterback for anybody. I grade Will Levis. I grade Mason Rudolph. I grade Drake May and Jacoby Brissett even across the board. That doesn't change my opinion on this game. Tennessee, they've lost both games that they've been favored in outright this year. Vegas does not really price them well, not historically, but at least for this year. We got a team that was outscored 86-24 over the last 2 weeks. And we have a team that just knocked off their division rival and has to be riding high right now.
Yep.
I love getting a field goal and some change here. It's going to stink. I'm going to hold my nose during the whole game. I won't watch it. I'll be watching Red Zone, so I won't have to watch it. This, to me, is the most 13-10 Tennessee.
Yes.
Maybe Tennessee wins 13-10. Maybe the Patriots win 13-10. I don't care. I just keep it tight. That's all I care about. These are two bad. When you got two bad teams with a team laying outside of a field goal, you take the points every time. I feel that way. I know that makes sense to everybody. But yeah, are you with me, brother?
Yeah. I mean, no chance I'm laying 3.5 the Titans. And Drake May, he's still limited. I hear he practiced for about 30 minutes today in a limited role. I mean, if he plays, I'd like that much
concussions
more.
Are like,
yeah, he ain't gonna
it's
play.
not. I mean, and if you're the Patriots and you're 3-6 in the AFC, which is ass cheeks, you're kind of in the conversation. You're not tanking anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're not, and especially if you beat the Titans, you're definitely not tanking. And if the Jets lose tonight, you're double not tanking.
Yeah.
It feels like the Patriots might not tank out the season, especially like you said. The big thing is Drake May. If May plays, they're going for it. Because a team that's tanking sits that quarterback after a concussion.
100%.
No matter what.
No, I mean, and we've seen what Will Levis is. Auto take that interception, lay the juice, parlay it with something. It don't matter. Take that. And then we've seen what Rudolph is. Do they even have that?
Yeah, it might be just Mason Rudolph prop right now. Yeah,
I'm only seeing Drake May. Let me look at.
Well, that's the thing is we don't know who's playing. Like I said, we don't know who's playing quarterback for both sides. I don't fucking care. I'm getting 3.5
under.
I'm taking it. These are bad teams.
Yep.
Like, give me all those points.
Yep. Under for sure. I'm actually
38. Yeah. Under feels great in this matchup. You show me a team. This is a 27-10 at best matchup in a blowout. And it's probably more of a, like I said, 13-10. Yeah. No.
And if the Patriots didn't go score late, that last week goes under by a mile too. Like
100%. It's going to skew people's perception, and that's why I hate looking at the trends and shit like that. And you look at the Titans last week. So like the Titans scored 14 points in the first quarter and then got outscored like 52-0. Like what? How do you grade that?
The week prior too. I mean, they did it the week prior too.
Same thing. Buffalo was 10-10, and all of a sudden, we're going to open it up, and you're never going to come back. Big things to talk about in this game, though, because I would never tell somebody to bet plus 3.5 on the New England Patriots without talking about the injury report. Duggar is questionable. May right now is doubtful, but like we talked about, concussion, you can kind of come out of that. L'Jarius Sneed is out. Burks is out. Will Levis, doubtful. Spears is questionable with a hamstring, which I hate that as a running back. So yeah, I go all over the Patriots on this one. I've got 0.75 units on it, man. It was an early one that I took. I was like, shit, I do not want to have to play this thing at +3. So I got 3.5 at a good number. So let's talk about another game I've got action on, and I'm going to let you kick this off, buddy. I've got Commanders at Giants. The Commanders move from 3.5 out to 4. Total in this one is 44.5. I'm sure you and I had probably the exact same reaction on Sunday when we saw that ball fall out of the sky. The beautiful part about it was I was at my dad's house moving furniture, and I had it up on my phone, and we got to experience that together. When you got a dad in your 60s and you're almost 30, you don't get to experience those things. Watching the Bears get their fucking hearts ripped out, that's that shit I live for. And my old man does too. That was mwah, chef's kiss. What do you think about this game, brother? I'll let you go first.
I kind of like the Commanders. I know they're hitting the road after a big, crazy just ending in win for that. But I mean, the Giants are ass. You just played the Steelers on the road, big physical game. Now you got to come home. They've just never been good. Sitting in the 12 o'clock window too. It's not going to have a ton of eyes on it. This feels like a game red zone pops in at like 2-3 times, which it'll be for a Commander's touchdown. Jaden Daniels is far superior than Daniel Jones. I will say the Giants' defensive line is pretty solid, but Commanders have really stepped up, played a really good ball lately. That Bears defense is no joke. I know they held them shutout, no offensive touchdowns till late, but man, that's a huge just spark win right there. I mean, you snap victory from the jaws of defeat. I feel like
when the Packers did that to the Lions, we watched them rip off one of the crazier end of season runs that we've ever seen. It means a lot. I love your angle on it. I do think if
Tank.
Whoa, Tank. Oh, Tank. Oh,
right,
some 3 points before half. Oh, this bitch is gonna land on 20, and I'm gonna that's fine. As long as they keep it within 8. But no, anyways, this game I did want to talk about because I do have maybe a really ugly total in this one. I bet I just want to double check to make sure what my number was, because I'm pretty sure Daddy got a bad line. Jesus, why is it white?
Giants at home are dog shit too. Let's not.
Oh, Giants are so bad. This is
better on the road, but
I like to not tease it. I like the under. I'm just looking to see. I'm like, what did I'm pretty sure I got it 43.5. It's sitting 44.5, which sick.
Yeah.
Going forward. Here it is. Oh, no, I'm good. Oh, no, I'm not. 43.5 under. It is ticked over to 44.5. Obviously, Washington come over. Emotional victory, to say the least. Daniels is not 100%. I don't care that he came out and scrambled a little bit. Ribs are ribs from some guys that have had rib injuries and had to get their shit blasted on a regular basis. Not fun. Washington's offense, the biggest thing in this one, we have 2 teams. I have a term that I've used on this program that, I'll be honest, my first real sponsor, it got me. They backed out, but I have no worries about Lock, Talk, or Bet Openly. These teams have fucking whiskey dick, complete whiskey dick. These offenses cannot finish. Washington settled for field goals 4 times in back-to-back matchups. What the fuck is that? 13 times in the last 4 games. What the fuck is that? The Giants did it 3 times last week. The Giants settled for 4 times on Monday night. And then the previous 2 games, they were held at 10 points. These are bad teams. This is an underplay to me. Shout out to my unders. They have not lost this year. I do 1 a week. I try to zero in on 1. This is my stinky ass matchup. I like the under 43.5. And guess what, folks? You can get it for 44.5. So good for you.
Yeah, I mean, Giants dead last at home, and opponent red zone scoring percentage 85.7%.
Giving them up.
But I mean, this game feels like it'll honestly be like 27, like 17 or something. Like
that brings it home.
It does. I mean, like you said, they've been settling for field goals. No better place to
field
go.
Goals on both sides. And hey, big shout out to both their kickers. I mean, both guys are hitting their shit. That's the one thing is, hey, at least you're converting your field goals. And I think there was no room for error for Washington last weekend, but they at least hit all their field goals. I got a game next that I have absolutely no action on. I'm interested to see what happens because Derek Carr is allegedly back for the Saints, and they're laying 7 against the Panthers. Allegedly, that's what I just saw on Twitter. And Derek Carr props are up. So Vegas is feeling a Derek Carr comeback is imminent. They're showing him as questionable. Shaheed is out. But other than that, they look pretty healthy. Jadeveon Clowney's questionable. Doubtful Adam Thielen. Wow, the Panthers. Is this real? Panthers have 18 people on their injury report.
Nobody wants to fucking play.
Could you blame a guy for not wanting to play for the Panthers at this point? Holy shit. Yeah, man. I have nothing at laying 7 with the Saints. I could maybe tease it. Oh, god damn it. You missed the field goal.
Yeah.
Kickers shouldn't wear gold chains. I'll say it.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, Saints for me, I would maybe tease them down to laying 1. But yeah, this game stinks out loud. I'm done watching Panthers football.
I mean, that teaser is a good angle. You could definitely tease Saints down to 1, tease the Browns up to 7.5 at home.
There's some really good angles this week in the teaser realm. So the one thing I talk about all the time on this program is Wong teasers. Are you familiar with those?
Going over the key numbers there.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is Stanford Wong. He wrote a book a few years ago.
Wong teasers.
Yeah, Wong.
Long teasers.
Oh, Long. Yeah, no, Wong. So it's for Stanford Wong, who is a big blackjack bettor, wrote a really good book. Do you read? Not can you, do you?
I read a fair amount of blogs and articles, yeah.
Yeah, so books may not be your up to speed. You're similar to me, but we can get you the book on tape. And I would tell you, if you could read The Guide to Sports Betting by Stanford Wong, he is maybe one of the smartest individuals. Basically, what it talks about when it comes to teasers and what the Wong teaser is you move a team through the key numbers. Obviously, you want to move teams through 3. You want to move teams through 6. And you want to move them through 7. So if you have a team that is +2 or +2.5, Devontae drop. That's hilarious. It's the most key numbers you can get. Any team in that +2 to 2.5 range is covering their teaser at almost 78%. So if you put those teams together, obviously it's not going to work every time. And there's a whole lot of variance that goes into it. Statistically, it works out. Now, on the alternative side, if you've got, so we look at it this weekend, the Ravens are laying 8 against the Broncos. I can take the Ravens -8, move them down to -6, and it makes a lot of analytical sense. Obviously, being within a field goal makes a lot of sense as well. But over time, you make money that way. Now, the key to that is, and we were talking about Bovada earlier, and you got to be super careful when you're talking about offshore books. This is only profitable over time when you're betting it at -120. If your book wants to do a 6-point teaser at -130, first of all, tell your bookie to go fuck himself. Second of all, it's mispriced. There are a lot of books out there that can do -120. But again, the biggest thing that I could tell people, Stanford Wong is one of, if not the smartest person I've ever seen. Like gamble on sports. Obviously, Billy Walters is the GOAT, but this is somebody that will write about it, break it down. But yeah, it's called Sharp Sports Betting by Stanford Wong. Not to plug his book, but that I've taken a lot of what I've learned when it comes to sports betting and I've applied it through kind of what his methods are. But it's all statistically backed. And that's why I've been able to bet for this long. Guys usually blow their fucking bankroll by year 3. So, and I'll tell you what, have you noticed something on Twitter with these guys on Twitter? A lot of them are quitting gambling. And it's like, yeah, man, you got cold and people can't deal with the highs and lows. Tough scene, man. It's not for the faint of heart, but let's move on from this shitty matchup. Move on to maybe the most surprising 5-3 matchup I've ever seen in my life between the Broncos, the Denver Broncos. They're at the Ravens this weekend. They are catching 8.5. I like the 8.5 a lot. I hate the Broncos, but I love that number. I think that has to be the worst priced line of the weekend. And I'm looking through a bunch of different guys on Action Network. This thing opened at 9.5. So I'm not going to bet it. I'm not going to take the loss on it. But dude, what the hell are the Broncos up to? This is insanity.
They've been clicking, dude. They've been figuring it out. I mean, I know
they're winning games they need to win. That's their biggest thing. Not to cut you off, but Carolina, New Orleans without Derek Carr, and Vegas over 3 of the last 4 weeks, and a tight game with the Chargers. Yep. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
Beat the Jets 2 on the road. I know that was a nasty weather game. That I had the Jets -1 in a teaser in that game. That was
damn.
Ugly. Yeah,
damn.
But like you said, they're playing good. I mean, they lost at 7 to the Steelers. Kept it within a touchdown against the Seahawks. All these games are within a possession, or they're winning outright. Now, obviously, not ideal getting the Ravens off of a loss here, but man, this is in Denver, correct?
It is. It absolutely is. Or no, wait.
No, I see Ravens.
This one's in Baltimore. Sorry.
I mean, still, if you're getting that 8.5, you talking just about those long teasers, you can get this over 14.5 if you wanted to put in a teaser. Would I? No, I don't want to hold
against the spread on the road, by the way.
Are they 4-0? Yeah, they
4-0, and then they are a good team.
They're winning outright too, except for the Seahawks. They've won every one of them outright.
Yeah, they're very strong.
I mean, we've seen the Ravens shit the bed a few times.
Many times. And we've been talking about, I mean, dude, look at fucking last weekend. How do you love Jameis? Talked a lot of good things about Jameis. Lamar Jackson should not lose to Jameis Winston.
No.
When he has, and now, I mean, they pick up Deontay Johnson. What do you think of the Deontay Johnson trade?
Huge.
Amazing, right? Doesn't it make all the sense in the world?
Yeah, now Zay doesn't have all that target on him. I mean, because
he was getting Zay and then double coverage. His double coverage percentage versus another guy on the team was quadrupled. It's insane.
Because Lamar doesn't like throwing it to. I mean, I know he hit Bateman a few times, but Bateman also dropped the ball last week. I believe it was a touchdown too. It could be wrong. So, I mean, he's been rough. And then if you look at Ravens have the worst pass defense in the league, I believe. Without
they're right there. They're right there. And then part of that is they're beating the shit out of some teams and they're playing from behind. But their defense is fake good. 29, 31, 23, 38 in the last 4 weeks. I mean, what are we even talking about? The Broncos aren't great on offense, but the last 2 weeks, 33 against New Orleans, 28 against Carolina, 3 weeks ago, 34 against Vegas. They can do it against bad units. And you want to talk about not a bad unit, but a banged up unit. You look at the Ravens injuries right now. Marlon Humphrey is doubtful. He's probably not playing. Nate Wiggins is out. TJ Tampa, who I wanted to be a Packer more than life itself, is out. This is as banged up of a secondary as you could possibly get. I think you have a great opportunity to take Denver. Plus 8.5 is crazy, man. You move that out to, I might have to.
14.5.
Puts me out of that's a big fucking number. But yeah, so I think we feel very similarly on that game. Let's move it along. Jacksonville, Philly. Philly's laying a touchdown and a half. Total 46.5. I really don't have a ton of thoughts on this game. I mean, we watched Jacksonville last week. They can do stuff. They're not completely broken. Obviously, a team that's lost 2 out of their last 3 weeks, 3 out of their last 5. You know, their only wins are over Indianapolis and New England. You haven't really showed much, but I mean, you played us really, really tough last week, and we're a good team. So I would lean Jacksonville at home, and we have a coach. Jacksonville's not at home. Jacksonville on the road, rather, because they have a coach that is coaching for his life. This would be a game. I don't know if Jacksonville will have Christian Kirk will, actually. I want wide receiver rushing yards. That's all I care about in these games. They turned them off. Christian Kirk's had rushing yards the last 3 weeks. I think they're going to get a little crazy and a little desperate as they get closer, but I really don't have a huge opinion on this game. What do you think?
And Jacksonville's not a good passing defense either.
Oh, they're terrible. Hurts props is the one you should probably look at.
Yeah,
honestly.
because it's tough. It's kind of like the Packers. It's pretty tough to kind of pinpoint a receiver when they're all healthy that who is going to be the guy. I mean, you could take a AJ Brown, maybe longest reception or something, or Devonta Smith. Not a terrible angle, but yeah, I mean, 214 passing yards for Jalen Hurts.
Slow.
What is completion? 17.5.
I'm looking at the longest completion at 35.5. I know 3 guys on that roster that could do that.
Yep. Easy could. I mean,
like that.
What's Devonta Smith 21.5, AJ Brown 26.5. Devonta's also juiced over pretty heavily. I've seen a 130. So I mean,
his receiving yards at 57. But so this is the game that also you kind of got to worry about game state. If Jacksonville kind of shits the bed and it turns into like a Philly rout. I don't know how much you see these guys. Who does Philly have next week? I'm gonna go look at that real quick. Because that's another thing that I start looking at.
Cowboys.
Yeah. So that's a big thing. And I hate to say look ahead because Philly is in absolutely no position in their situation to look ahead. Yep, you're 5-2. That's great. You haven't been a very impressive 5-2. Your quarterback's been good, not great. Your defense is good, not great. This could be a look ahead spot. You get Jacksonville outside of a touchdown. I hate to say it. I thought Jacksonville played well last weekend. They definitely played well enough to beat us.
Yeah, they came back. I mean, losing Love definitely didn't help, but I mean,
losing Love is one thing, but then Trevor Lawrence just starts dicing. His ball from about 15 yards to about 35 yards, that kind of medium, that shit's on a rope. And that is the touchdown Jesus that we were told that we were going to get coming in. But I don't know. The deep ball hasn't really figured itself out. So we'll see about that.
Eagles? They've got a pretty good pass defense. They're only allowing 62% pass.
Oh yeah, they fixed their shit in the backfield for defense.
Yeah.
They were one of the worst secondaries in the league last year. They fixed it. Big shout out to them for that. Let's move on. This feels
like a first half for Philly if you want to play it. Just come out.
I 100% agree.
Come out, just kind of coast second half.
Yep, coast your way
Jacksonville
through it.
Maybe backdoors it with a field goal. Goes from 10-7. They try to get the onside. Philly gets it, wins by 7, 27-20 or something.
There's been an unimaginable amount of backdoor covers this year, and they're not going my way. Let's talk Bears and Cardinals, folks. The Cardinals are laying 1.5 against the Chicago Bears. 44.5, man. I don't know. I don't want this to. So before I get into this, hey, you and me, right here. We're not going to shit on Caleb Williams right now. It's not the time to do it. It's the low-hanging fruit. A worse podcast would shit on Caleb Williams. Let's talk about the real issue in Chicago. It's Shane Waldron. They can't call plays.
No.
Caleb Williams is not the problem at all.
No.
I think Caleb Williams he's not, I don't think he's the generational talent, just like Trevor Lawrence is. He's not the generational. The next time we get the generational tag, fade, because it just doesn't work out. And the Bears played well enough last week to win. They did. That was the biggest thing. They held Washington. Yes, the offense moved the ball down the field. Now the Bears offense didn't give them great help when it came to field position. But I mean, you held a really good Washington offense to 18 points, and you didn't give up a touchdown to the last play of the game. And you look at the games before this, Jacksonville, 16 points, dominating game. I was on the wrong side of that. Carolina, 36-10, dominating game. LA, 24-18, okay. The Bears have won 3 of 4. They easily could have won 4 straight.
Yep.
Now let's talk Cardinals, because this is one of the teams that I'm kind of high on. but
Same.
not in the right ways, probably. It's probably one of the most volatile teams because we're looking at a team that the last few games, 1-point win, 2-point win. Packers beat them. 1-point win. They play within the number. And I'm looking at a game right now that is basically a pick 'em. I don't think the Cardinals, the problem with me and that I can't get over, I thought the Bears would be favored here.
I did too. I really did.
I thought this might have been, and maybe it's not mispriced because obviously, again, we'll say it every time. We're not sharps on this show. But it just felt like from a public perception thing, you could get the public to bet. If you wanted Arizona to win, you could get the public to bet on Chicago. You could talk,
Especially plus money.
yeah, right. So I don't know. It's a hard game for me. This is maybe and it's a game that I would love to bet. I bet Chicago games every weekend because they're exciting. It is much it pains me. The Bears are exciting. They're also at the bottom of the division, but that is what it is. That's nothing new.
It's just a true testament to the NFC North being the GOAT
NFC
division
North
this year.
might get 4 teams in, and that would be
crazy.
Absolute anarchy.
I would love to see Packers Lions NFC Championship.
Oh, I would.
Cinema.
We just got our playoff tickets, buddy.
Nice.
113 row 4.
Buddy, you're gonna be on the field.
I'm gonna be slapping 5 with the guys. Cannot wait. But yeah, so but the thing is, the problem is my wife doesn't know yet, but she's going to be staying at home because we only got 1 pair, and it's me and the old man.
Decisions were made.
Decisions were made. She always knew this is how it goes. Let's talk about a really interesting game though in the late slate.
One thing with this Bears Cardinals game,
go
I
ahead.
do kind of lean under just because the
Bears,
Bears, the offense has not been, I mean, like you said, Waldron's kind of been asked. I mean, congratulations on beating up Jacksonville, Carolina, but they haven't allowed more than 18 points all year. That was twice. Washington on a Hail Mary, and then
the defense
the
is
Rams,
fucking
18.
real.
Yep, they're so good. They're so damn good. Cardinals defense, not terrible. I mean, last couple of weeks, 27, 15, 13, 23 at San Francisco. I mean, they still won the game. They're 3-4. So yes, 3 of those games went over, but 44.5 Bears. I know some of the players are coming out talking about how they fucked up the end. It's kind of on the coaching. They should have done this. We shouldn't have gave them that 15-yard, free 15 yards going down there to set up the Hail Mary. And then who was it? Eberflus even said there's no difference in an 80 or a 55, 60-yard pass.
I wanted to strangle him. And the best man at my wedding is a massive Bears fan. Shout out Matt. I know, and he's a quarterback. Like we both grew up playing quarterback. What do you mean there's not a difference between a 60-yard throw and the difference between a 60-yard throw and an 80-yard throw is impossibility.
Yep.
It's not
There's a couple
something.
ladders.
Joe Milton might be the only person in the NFL right now that can throw the ball 80 yards, and he's ass and would never get put in that situation, which is the funny thing. Was it Joe Buck? One of them said, well, you should probably throw in Mariota here. He's got the better arm.
Yeah. Oh
what the fuck are we talking about? The reason that play happened is because he went right and was able to escape left and get all the momentum going. And for a couple of guys that are Hall of Fame too, Hail Mary experts as Packer fans, we know how the dynamics work. You're not making that throw on your first rollout. That throw happens after you escape the second time. I cannot believe that happened. It was
all-time dummy quote.
And that's the thing. Why didn't they reset when they drafted a quarterback? And this is ultimate weirdo world. Ben Johnson said he wasn't leaving for a job. Do you think Ben Johnson would have left if he would have said, well, you get the keys to Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen, DJ
And
Moore,
that defense.
and that defense. Like, I think he probably would have changed his mind. Yes, it's in division. The NFL, none of these guys are fucking loyal to their teams. Who cares? You're about what is my next step as a coach. That's all that matters.
Yep.
So, yeah, no, I think the coaching, you blame, well, how about the dude fucking pointing out the fans on the sidelines, all that shit? I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of conversations in Hallis Hall that needs to happen. But
holy shit. That may have been crazier than the fucking Eberflus quote. Was fucking dude standing 20 yards away from the play, taunting the fans.
And then he's the one that deflects it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Again,
well,
as
we'll
Packer
move on
fans,
from that. We spent way too much time shitting on the Bears, which we said we wouldn't do. Shout out us because we're true Packer fans. Rams Seahawks, my friend. We have 4 games to go. Rams are laying 1. Total is 48 in this game. Rams are 3-4. Seahawks are 4-4. We got a chance of rain. Can we kind of overcast, shitty this weekend in Seattle? I personally don't have a super hard lean. You got to talk about the fact that the Rams do kind of just find a way to win in these kind of games.
They're in every game.
They really are.
Minus the Cardinals game.
The Cardinals game is the one outlier. And you look at Seattle last week, they looked like shit against Buffalo, and they've lost 3 out of 4. So I don't know, man. It's tough. And the Rams come off a great win and obviously a lot of time off. You come off the Thursday nighter. But yeah, it's to me, it's a Rams bet here. I like the Rams a lot going forward. People think Stafford is washed. Yeah. Have you watched him this year? His arm's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. His shit. I was all about it last year. I was like, dude has a dead arm. And he did. And he came out this offseason. Once he came out this offseason and said, like, very publicly, yeah, I kind of had a dead arm last year. I couldn't really throw the ball. And he's like, well, I'm really healthy now. And I was like, well, I am very in on, even though LaFleur's been great, I still think McVay is the best coach in the league.
Oh, yeah. LaFleur's great. Like, easily top 5 coach. But McVay that motherfucker,
he's special.
Schemes up ways to win.
He's
like,
so
he'll
special.
find a way.
And the Rams have won. You know, you had a really, and see, this is the thing, is the Rams could have completely laid an egg against Minnesota. You had a game against Las Vegas that you were 7-point favorites. You barely won an ugly game, and you had to play a short week against one of the hottest teams in the league. And you came in and you punched them in the fucking mouth.
Yep.
That's exactly what I want to see out of the Rams. But yeah, man, I'm all Rams in this matchup. I think, are you feeling that same way?
Yeah, Rams all day. I mean, you now McVay's had what, 9 days to?
Yeah, he's had 9 days to prepare for somebody that he's played a dozen plus times. Like, what are we even talking about here? This comes down to coaching, and Seattle, it gets absolutely shit on in every single category. But yeah, no, good to know. I'm going to be locking in my Rams bet real soon. Aaron Rodgers looks like shit. Moving on. Let's talk about our boys, huh? This is the last late game. Are you going this weekend?
No, not going to be going. I go maybe once a year, every other year, whenever my buddy has extra tickets. So I'm like, nice, yeah, I'll go. It's always nice when it's a later game, not a.
I'll be picking your brain for some other reasons that'll be coming out later. I will need a partner for Packer games. She didn't leave me. Don't worry, guys. Anyways, Packers 6-2, hosting the Lions 6-1. We don't know who's playing quarterback right now for the Green Bay Packers. Packers are plus 2.5. Feels like we're getting closer to a Jordan Love number. What do you think, man? We got to start about the weather. We got to talk about the weather, though. It's the reason I'm not going to the game this weekend. Not the reason. I'll talk off camera about the reason. If people can pick up hints, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, the weather this weekend looks like shit. It's going to be about 50 degrees, wet as hell. It is going to be Green Bay November weather. I love the Lions here. I don't think we win 5 straight. I think the Lions are going to beat us. I hate to say it. It is what it is. I'm never going to bet against the Packers. I've never done that.
Nope.
And I'll never do that. That's treason in my opinion. It was funny. We were on the podcast I was on Tuesday with Etop. He's not Viking, big Lions fan. He took the Packers plus the points. I was like, kudos to you, man. I must not be that big of a bettor because I could never. And if the Lions, if it was, I can't even get my head around to pick them. Nope, I just won't take it. Would love to see the Packers outside of a field goal with Malik here, which I believe right now we are looking at a Jordan Love line.
Love line.
There it is, almost. But yeah, 2.5 feels like a Jordan Love line. It was 3.5 at one point.
Yeah, that was the time to take it if you're going to.
If you were going to take the Packers, you have to take them at plus 3.5. I'm looking at my action right now. There are multiple guys that took it at Detroit minus 3.5, which might be the worst line of the year.
What a divisional road game, and you're going to 3.5
again.
And we have a good defense now. God damn, it's not Joe Barry calling plays anymore.
I'm knocking on wood very loud.
Me too.
Oh, my dog just went nuts, and my wife just got woken up. God damn it. I'm gonna hear about this one. You're usually quiet when you stream. I get it. All right.
Yeah, we talked Packers. The injury report though. Jair, DNP for 2 straight days, and then Josh Myers, the only guy other than the quarterback who touches the ball the most, DNP both days too.
That's the one. Out of both of those, I've seen. Oh shit! Touchdown Jets.
Garrett Wilson fantasy.
Garrett Wilson fantasy. Oh. Rodgers got clapped.
Yeah, but he scored, so now he's happy.
Well, yeah. I also would be happy if I could go home to my mansion. Oh, wow. Grown man in a Chucky costume. Interesting. Let's
Teletubbies.
Yeah, the Teletubbies is always a winner. That's a big Badger one. That's a big Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the one thing I wanted to look at in this game that I really, really like, Josh Jacobs minus 115 anytime touchdown.
I don't hate that at all. I mean, it's going to be a run-heavy game. Then if Malik is playing, he's going to throw the ball 12, 15
and they're not
times
going to tell Malik to throw the ball in the red zone. The Packers have made it very clear. Malik Willis is good enough to run 60% of our offense. Yeah. And people last week are like, oh, they opened the book up. Malik had a play that like we only looked at once in the week. Like, yeah. I've heard about this on the inside that it didn't exactly. The coaches have been glazing him for a reason. They would love to trade him for a 3rd-round draft pick next year because we still have him. We still have him for another year. So that's the other thing about it is we have all these teams that need a quarterback. Malik Willis is very much available if you need him, but our quarterback needs to stay healthy as well. So that's the big kicker. Anything else? Lions, Packers before we move along?
Just rushing props. I mean, Jaden Reed, if you can get it, low enough, I could see him getting the ball 2 times at least, especially if it's going to be a shitty weather day. Josh Jacobs carries. I mean, like you said, in the red zone, he's not throwing it. And then if you want to get spicy, maybe a Malik Willis touchdown if he starts. But if it's Jordan Love,
everything out the window.
He's not going to be moving.
Everything you just heard Stoolie say, if Jordan Love starts, just throw it out the window.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, like, and if you're gonna play receiver props, I'd low-key would go rush and receiving for the Packers, because, like you said, weather game, anybody can get a handoff or two, and all these guys run deep enough routes and are shifty enough to break some plays. But the Jacobs carries potentially, and then Jordan Love maybe under rushing yards, especially after a groin injury last year. The last thing they want him doing is scrambling around and potentially re-injuring that in the middle of the game. So that might be one of my favorite angles
for somebody that's done Packer props all year. And I'm sure you have done your fair share of Packer props. The one thing I'll talk about, do not take receptions, take yards.
Never know who's getting the ball.
Take yards. Just take yards. I took Tucker Kraft last week, full unit, 3.5 receptions. Dude had like 70 yards on 3 catches. like
Yeah.
it's so schemed up well where they're just going to get their yards. So let's move along. We got 2 more games to talk about. Sunday night, the Colts are at the Vikings. I teased the Vikings down actually with this game. This is my pairing. I teased the Vikings down at the time to a pick 'em. It is now 5.5. Total 46.5. We are going to see Joe Flacco this weekend.
Yep.
Interested to so game aside, I want your undoctored, unedited take on what you saw from Anthony Richardson last weekend.
Fucking putrid. Disgusting. I mean, I'm from Indiana, so I do watch the Colts, root for them a little bit, unless they're playing the Packers. But my God, he looked ugly. But do I agree with them entirely benching him? Not necessarily. I mean, the guy played 4 games last year. He played 12 games at Florida. And so since then, he's played 16 games since coming out of high school. I mean, you guys knew what you were doing drafting this guy. So I feel like you got to stick him in.
He's always been a project.
Yeah, you got to
why
stick him
is
in
it a
and play.
surprise now?
No, it shouldn't be. I mean, and the funny thing is, they've been in one score games every week, every single week. No, granted, Joe Flacco's played 3 games, not including that handoff last week. So he's played 3 games. They're 2-1. The Vikings give up a lot of pass yards. I could see Joe Flacco throwing it more, but I kind of like Josh Downs in this game. Otherwise, I do low-key kind of lean the Colts. I mean, they got DeForest Buckner back last week, and that was huge for him. The defense looked pretty damn good last week. No, I know it was a divisional game, so they've seen him more. They're more familiar, but I mean, the defense looked all right. I don't hate playing an over though. I mean, you still have Joe Flacco in this Vikings pass offense that can still score and do stuff.
46.5, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, so I could see, both teams getting in, this would be a 27-23 type of game, something like that. I mean, the Colts have been in every game. Let me pull up their schedule. 2-point loss versus the Texans, 6-point at Lambeau, beat the Bears by 5, beat the Steelers by 3, lost to the Jags by 3, beat the Titans by 3, won by 6, lost by 3. Every single game has been tight. I mean, 23-20, 2017, 27-24, 29-27, 37-34. They have been in some low-scoring games too, so this might be a game to just live bet. I mean, if it starts out both teams moving the ball, grab the over. If it's going slow, maybe grab an under because they have played some nasty games, and the defense has been decent.
I'll tell you what. I mean, we talk about Anthony Richardson for better or for worse. I mean, people want to talk about who point the blame at. Is it Richardson? Is it Steichen? How about the fact that Steichen's got to this point 4-4 with an objectively bad roster? Outside of a few pieces, this is a bad team. I like Minnesota in this matchup. I think Minnesota really needs to bounce back. Obviously, we've talked about it a lot. The NFC North is unbelievably aggressive. It's going to be very tough. They've lost back-to-back games. To me, I just think they win the game. I don't think they're going to blow them out by any means. But yeah, I do think this is a game the Vikings win. They are, when it comes to coaching, I do give Steichen a lot of credit because he's got a good resume. But at the end of the day, O'Connell's so much better. It's not even funny. Like, O'Connell's probably one of the best coaches in this league. They had a bad loss against LA last week. I bet that one +3. That was an outright. And then the Detroit game, I have bet against them the last 2 weeks. Maybe I got to bet. Nah, I won't do it. I got the Vikings, man. I like the Vikings this weekend. Let's move to Monday night. This is an interesting one as well. The Chiefs laying 8.5 at home against the Buccaneers. Do you believe in the Chiefs? They're undefeated, and they are the Chiefs. They've back-to-back champs. But do you believe?
I mean, they find a way to win. Now, granted, maybe they're getting a few calls here and there, but they just find a way to win. The defense is really freaking good now this year too. Like, they're playing lights out.
That's the kicker.
Yep. And Baker's going to throw a pick or two. Like, actually, let me just pull that up. What are his interceptions? Probably crazy high. Yeah, minus 160. I mean, maybe if we get crazy, go 2+. Just for shits and gigs. What are those? Passing interceptions, 2. You can't. It won't even let me go up to 2. But yeah, so maybe a Baker and if Levis is starting, Baker, Will Levis interception parlay. Have some DGen fun there. But
Get the fuck out of here. That'd be the slimiest parlay I've ever seen.
what man would it be electric? All comes down to Monday night Baker pick.
Oh, could we do it? Just text that to me when we're done so I remember, because I want to do that so bad.
I'll write that down.
Perfect.
But I mean, the one thing that the Chiefs do struggle with are tight ends, and who's all that's left for the Bucks? Cade Otton. Cade Otton's had monster games. His receiving yards, 47.5 receiving.
Oh, that's so like, give me that shit. I'm putting
4.5 receptions, minus 150. I would honestly ladder him if you're going to play the receptions. I mean, they've given up 6, 6, 7, 3, 2, 14, and 11. So 2 games they've allowed 6 or less receptions to tight ends. I mean, Brock Bowers went 5 for 5 for 58. George Kittle had 6 receptions for 92 yards. I mean, Falcons and Chargers don't have tight ends. We know that. Bengals, I mean, Gesicki went for 91.
The Falcons have one. They just don't
know how to use them. Of course, he scores 2 touchdowns on tight ends a week last week.
That was crazy.
That was.
I had so many.
And he almost dropped one of them too.
I had so many friends that did tight end round robins, and none of them had Pitts. And it's like, yeah, he kind of was the guy.
Yeah. I had a long night prior, so I didn't wake up until about 11:50 and totally spaced on it.
For noon? For Sunday?
Yeah, it was a rough night. It was a long one.
Hanging out at $2 bar, no doubt.
Oh man, yeah, there for a little bit.
Sorry, hometown.
It'll always be $2. There at a little house party, and all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. Like, I got to get the hell home.
Jeepers creepers.
Uber myself home, just sleep. Anyway, regardless, it was
it
was tight end day, and holy shit, if you just round robin every starting tight end that day, you made out like
a day, brother.
Insane.
No, I had Tucker Kraft full unit over fucking 3.5 receptions. He has the one that went all the way down to the 10-yard line that he just didn't catch a ball the rest of the day. It's unfortunate.
Absurd.
But yeah, man, that's pretty much all we got. We almost went an hour and a half. Yikes.
Oh yeah.
My wife's gonna be thrilled. But yeah, man, appreciate you coming on. Excited for the weekend. Hey, we talk about shitty college football weekends, whatever it talks, schedule aside. We're halfway through the NFL season after this weekend.
I know, it's crazy, dude.
Halfway through the regular season. I shouldn't say halfway through the season, but halfway through the regular season already. It came fast every time. That's what she said. Oh.
Hey, college basketball starts Monday. We'll get a little fun back there. Monday, Texas, Ohio State, Baylor, Gonzaga is at 10:30 Central.
Dude, how about these secret scrimmages coming out?
That everybody just tweets out the scores.
They're freaking the fuck out. They've got full box scores. This is the most. They want to talk about misinformation is a big, big thing in the United States right now because we're electing a couple of retards. Ooh, can't say that word.
You ain't wrong.
We talk about college basketball misinformation. This is the most misinformation for college. Duke beat ASU by like 45.
I watched that game. That was it was on ESPN. It was
really.
I think they were up like.
I didn't know they were televising these.
Yeah, they had Indiana, Tennessee on before that too. So I mean,
we're just doing preseason college basketball now.
Yeah, apparently, clearly. I mean, they're saying they're like.
I mean, we pay the guys. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not?
Well, Hunter Dickinson and Keeler, whoever on Kansas, they're sitting there with freaking looks like $100,000 necklaces around their chains around their neck. Just
I had another year of Dickinson.
Ridiculous. Yeah, unfortunately, that we do. No Drew Timmy though. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. This is so on Saturday, I will crack open the full breakdown for college basketball and basically run through the entire thing. And that's when I asked you, like, not do you read, if you read, That's the only time I read is pre-college basketball. I will go through the entire. Oh, he got it. Yeah, he's got the hard copy. He's got the motherfucking
I got the digital.
hard
I'll send
copy.
it to you if you want it.
Oh, what a king! What a king! No, I don't. Yeah, it's worth every dollar when it comes to it. So, especially if you're a
portal's
big
ridiculous.
dude, it's nuts. But
It's
hey, man,
like
I appreciate
college
you coming through, Stoolie. We're gonna talk a hell of a lot more about college basketball going forward because once we get this shit into, I think we did that last year, right? We brought you on during the week for that. Yeah. So we got a lot more to talk about. It's going to be a weird college football weekend, a dope NFL weekend. Appreciate you coming on, my friend. Always
Absolutely,
a pleasure.
man.
We will get back to the up north report. Brett texted me. He's like, oh, yeah, I got ice time tonight. So, like, I can't pass that up. I'm like, all right, man, you're from the UP. We get it. The old man needs to skate. The old boy needs to get his cardio in. But hey, man, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that chimed in this week. We will be back probably the same time next week. So maybe Stoolie comes back around again. We'll see if his boss lets him out early.
Yeah, I mean, I covered for someone tonight, but generally I'm out about 6:30. So shout out to him for at least letting me leave early when I was covering for somebody.
Hey, that's the best way. That's the best thing we can ask for. All right.
Absolutely.
Shout out everybody. We love y'all. See ya.
Later.